All right, let's talk about the studio season 1 episode 6. Sorry. It's called The Pediatric Oncologist. Uh, if you guys are not caught up with the studio season 1 episode 6, please stop watching as we are going to dive into spoilers and break it down. Starting now. This is the one where Seth Rogen's character starts dating a doctor who's played by Rebecca Hall, who I do love. She's done a lot of stuff. She was Christine in Christine. She was in the King Kong and Godzilla movies. She did, what was the other one? Hold on. She was in The Prestige and Iron Man 3, The Town, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, and Professor Marsden and the Wonder Women, which was a really good movie too. This was also the episode where Johnny Knoxville and Josh Hutcherson make an appearance in a new film that Seth Rogen's character is producing. And it's about a zombie apocalypse where zombies infect you with their diarrhea, which is a big focal point of this episode. I love Johnny Knoxville. I grew up with Jackass. One of my favorite human beings. He's insane and insanely funny. And Josh Hutcherson, I love from The Hunger Games, obviously, and many other movies. And I love Bridge to Terabithia. And he's also in a show that was also produced by Seth Rogen called Future Man, and that was a really funny show. And I also like him in Five Nights at Freddy's. We certainly could have had more Josh Hutcherson in this episode. We did get more Johnny Knoxville, which I love, but I could have used a little bit more Josh Hutcherson. Speaking of the Future Man, we do get to see one of the characters from Future Man. He plays one of the doctors, the friends of Rebecca Hall, Derek Wilson. He was Tech Knight also in The Boys, but he played Wolf in The Future Man. And The Boys is also a Seth Rogen produced show, so it makes sense for them to work with Derek Wilson again. But yeah, his character's contrast with Rebecca Hall's was so painfully funny and real, and oh my god, his character just was all over the place this episode. I remember when I was watching The White Lotus, and when it first started, season 3, I kept thinking wow, Saxon is going to be one of the worst characters in television history. And then I watched this show, and this episode really made me think no, that Matt Remick is one of the worst characters I've ever seen in a TV show. Not like he's poorly made or poorly written, but obviously you know what I'm talking about. It's just one of the most cringy scenarios of somebody's ego and just their self-obsession with them, with themselves. It wasn't as much of a humbling episode as I would have liked it to have been for Seth Rogen's character. Yes, he breaks his finger and realizes he needs to go to the hospital and he needs the doctor's help. But even in the damn ambulance, he's still talking about how important movies are. And I work in the movies, I work at a theater, and I know it's not that important. I mean, I love it, but everything Rebecca Hall says, it's nothing compared to what they have to deal with and the lives they're saving. And people need doctors, they don't need movies. And as cringeworthy of an episode as it was, it did, humble, I feel the film community a little bit. And I'm sure Seth Rogen's has met, movie studio heads who are like this. And I know he takes a lot from reality and draws from inspiration for this show. I'm sure there's been many people like this, which is sad. But yeah, one of the hardest episodes for me to watch, but I still really like this show. Being a fan of filmmaking and having worked in film myself and working in a movie theater, this was a really good episode, but also a really good show. Hearing about how the doctors watch everything at home was very humbling for me, who works at a movie theater and works in film. But it's the reality of what people are doing these days, and it's kind of sad, but it's true. It's changing. But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys thought of The Studio Season 1, Episode 6, The Pediatric Oncologist. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below what you guys thought. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.